Greetings, good people. What's up? What's happening? My name is Dr. Clarence, and welcome back to TV7 Live, where we get to give you all the hottest and top trending topics broadcasting from the nation of Zimbabwe in Africa. Now, the situation has reached another level. We are seeing a message coming from the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, from the Zimbabwe military. This message is coming just a few days before the Geza uprising is scheduled. Just a few days before we see the day of Geza's anti-Mnangagwa uprising. Yes, takaona comrade Geza vakauya blazer. Right, he comes guns blazing. Then tikaona kuzeza mubato rinotonga rezanu PF. Tikaona mawovet ezanu akachaga mazano, mayouth ezanu akachaga mazano. Yes, comrade Geza vachitiva rida kugeza corruption munyika. Now, what is happening? We are seeing a press release from the Zimbabwe military. Then we see also a statement by none other than Christopher Muchanga. What does Mr. Muchanga say about all this that is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe? What does Mr. Muchanga say about the Geza revolution? We're gonna jump on there without wasting any time. Fellow Zimbabweans, we're seeing various images making rounds on social media in Zimbabwe as we are seeing panic. Panic. We're seeing this one here. National appeal to shun all illegal sanctions and treasonous gatherings. Then we see President ED himself there on a poster with Tendi. Then we see him with Kembo Muhadi, but we don't see VP Chiwenga there on the poster. We see many churches are mentioned here. NJCVZP, UZIICCVED, ACCZ, ACCIAACZ, Pastors for ED, CCA, ZCMA, FICZ, June the 5th, Joan Mashowe Chishanu, ZABC, Joan Marangesanu, ZCBC. I don't see Yangu Chechi, Joani Marasta Ekutanga, I don't see it there. Then we see PhD Ministries is also there. Yes, when we're talking about PhD in the is here. PhD Walter Magaya, Council for Islamic Affairs in Zimbabwe. Anyways, big up to everybody who's watching us live. To those watching us live, can you confirm if you can hear me loudly and clearly? And make sure you click the like button. To those watching us live, you can write your comments in the top chat or in the super chat. That's how I can get to see your names, so I can give you my shout out. Big up to everybody who's watching us live right about now. Broadcasting live on TV7. Anyways, let's jump straight in it. Are you ready? Now this is the press release that we see released. I'm just gonna give it a quick read there to find out what is in there, what is written in there on the document there. Anyways, this one reads, what's the date first? 21 March, today is 22, so this one is released yesterday. Utterances on social media and abuse of military uniform by members of the public. The Zimbabwe Defense Forces are concerned by some recent utterances on social media made by some members of the public, including some retired members, on their individual political and economic wishes on the Zimbabwe situation, which may unfortunately be misconstrued to be the position of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. The public is hereby advised that the Zimbabwe Defense Forces have established channels of communication with the public and social media, and the social media is not one of them. The Zimbabwe Defense Forces therefore de-associates themselves from all social media utterances emanating from the public, including some retired members. So they don't name here. The Zimbabwe Defense Forces further note with concern the continued misuse of military uniform by some members of the public. The public is advised that according to the Defense Act Chapter 11 Section 02, the abuse of a military uniform is an offense which prohibits and criminalizes the wearing of uniforms of military uniform by individuals who are not members of the defense forces. Section 99 verse 2 C part C of the Defense Forces chapter 11 verse 2 further states that any person who without authority wears or uses any decoration supplied to or authorized by any member of the defense forces or other military forces, or any decoration so nearly resembling such a decoration as to be likely to deceive, shall be guilty of an offense. Members of the public are therefore urged to desist from acquiring or wearing any items of military uniform or apparel resembling such. Those caught on the wrong side of the law will be prosecuted. Members of the public are also urged to report to the Zimbabwe Republic Police or the Zimbabwe Military Police any person seen wearing military uniform outside cantonment and other designated, or those committing crimes on the pretext that they are members of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. In this regard, the Zimbabwe Defense Forces appeal to members of the public to report anyone known to be a civilian but wearing a uniform for whatever reason. Any member of the public who might have complaints might make against criminal abusing Zimbabwe Defense Forces attire should contact our call centers or cell phone numbers. Then they put their numbers 0712842318 and 0716801064. Public Relations Department, Zimbabwe Defense Forces. So we're seeing this one is coming from the public relations of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. What does this press release from the Zimbabwe Defense Forces mean? This is coming from the public relations, not coming from any commander. Anyways, as it is Cesar, what does it mean? Throughout the day, we were seeing posters like this one here showing on the screen. I'm just going to give it a quick read, which reads, a new chapter is about to begin, unstoppable and irreversible. We see an image of VP Chiwenga there. Then they write, who is coming? The true guardians of Zimbabwe, the protectors of our sovereignty, the forces of order, discipline, and national restoration. What is coming? The return to law and order and dignity, the cleansing of corruption and betrayal, the rebirth of Zimbabwe that serves its people. Prepare your hearts and your minds. Stay vigilant. Stay informed. Do not fear. This is for the people, by the people. Stand firm. History is being made before your eyes. What does this mean for you? No disruptions. Business, schools, and services continue as usual. Your safety is assured. Law and order will be maintained. Economic renewal is coming. A stronger future for every Zimbabwean. Then we see a logo there. This logo reads, General Chiwenga Voluntary Supporters Association. Voluntary Supporters Association. We are seeing them coming with the same coming that we see the persuaders of the ED 2030. They're coming. Big up to everybody who is watching us live. So all this that is happening, the letter that we see coming from the Zimbabwe military, Zimbabwe army, what does this mean, fellow Zimbabweans? And the big question is, what happens next in the nation of Zimbabwe? So, is this letter talking about Comrade Bombshell Geza? Is Comrade Bombshell Geza referred to as a civilian? Is a retired military officer a civilian? Is a retired same as a resigned? Remember, retirement is more like an oath. but it's more like a permanent oath or an oath without an ending date. Retired can be called to duty. Are they allowed to wear military uniform? Now let's go back to the letter for clarity and clarification to see if this letter is a tactical rhetoric or it says what it says literally as it is, says Aziri. So we're going to be jumping bits and pieces. Then we're going to go over to see utterances by none other than Christopher Chris Muchanga. What does he say about the Geza revolution? He doesn't have evil words for Geza. We will be surprised by what Christopher Muchanga say. Now first, we see the public is hereby advised that the Zimbabwe Defense Forces have established the channels of communication. We do not communicate via social media. There are people purporting to be part of the Zimbabwe military. Right. Who are these people that they are referring to? Who are these people? We scroll down a little bit. The public is advised that, according to the Defense Act, the abuse of military uniform is an offense which prohibits and criminalizes the wearing of uniform by individuals who are not members of the defense forces. Who are members of the defense forces. Then we see further states that any person who without authority wears or uses any decoration supplied to or authorized for use by any member of the defense forces or other military forces. Take note, or other military forces. Or other military forces. Now, they say or other military forces. They don't say or other members of the defense forces. Other military forces is a war veteran in Zimbabwe considered a military force. Big up Mr. Rains. Ziri say, I do remember Mr. Rains. Yeah, Rains, Randinho Richards. I even remember your full name. How is it? Where are you right about now? What's happening wherever you are? I hope you enjoying yourself, my brother there. Yeah. Big up. Yeah, fellow Zimbabweans, this is what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. We're seeing a press release there by the military of Zimbabwe. Does this insinuate, Comrade Bombshell Geza? Do we see any response as of now from the comrade there, blessed Bombshell Geza? And what does this mean, fellow Zimbabweans, as we are seeing the Zimbabwe Defense Forces? Yes, as we are seeing, happening in the nation of Zimbabwe, the Zimbabwe Defense Forces has moved to create a healthy distance between the war veterans leader Blessed Geza and itself ahead of the March 31 protests, in which their role will be a decisive factor by focusing on civilians wearing military uniforms. War veterans have of late been attacking President Emmerson Mnangagwa and demanding that he should resign, as he has dismally failed, according to what they are saying. The public perception is that war veterans enjoy support of the army. In this, hence, no one among them has been arrested for the utterances. Geza, who is being hunted by the police amid 4 criminal charges against him, including 2 of allegedly undermining the authority and insulting the president and inciting public violence, was wearing military regalia on Tuesday when he announced the demonstrations against President Emmerson Mnangagwa's government in a bid to deal with the public perception that the military is behind war veterans like Geza and other ex-combatants. The army says civilians found using its uniform for whatever reason will be prosecuted. Will be prosecuted. In an uncertain political situation like the current environment in Zimbabwe, this creates room for plausible deniability for the army if something goes wrong. Plausible deniability basically refers to the ability of someone, especially in chain of command, to deny knowledge or responsibility for an action, event, or their consequences, even if they would be involved. I'm not saying that they are involved. By creating a situation where it is possible to convincingly claim ignorance or non-involvement. Is this the case here? It would be a question that I'm referring to you, fellow Zimbabweans who are watching us live right about now. Could this be the case, as we are seeing a letter here by the Zimbabwe Defense Forces ZDF press relief for utterances on social media and abuse of military uniform by members of the public? It is really, really clear there. Now we go over to see what Comrade Christopher Muchanga says. Big up to everybody who is watching us live right about now. Big up to Prosper Chigondo, Abigail Kanjanda, Phile Chokuda, Raymond T. Randinho, Mr. Rains, YB Prince, Kevin Mishi, Daton Nongo, Abigail Kanjanda, Garikai, Kusa, Kevin Mishi, you need Jesus. Don't be pouring your anger thinking that you can be toxic. We are Jesus people. We cannot catch any toxicity. Yes, we cannot catch any toxicity. Yeah. Big up Garikai and Kusa, everybody who is watching us live right about now. So let's jump over to see what Comrade Christopher Muchanga is saying. Maybe this could be revealing of some other detail. This is coming around the same time where we are seeing the utterances, or rather a press release from the Zimbabwe Defense Forces is coming. Now we see. Now Christopher Muchanga, what does he say?
Support from the war veterans. It is one of the reasons why we fell out with Mugabe, because he didn't want that project since 2014. Comrade Geza was my team, was my business development manager. All I can say to him, we are making new headway about Manhize. We are going to become a major steel fabricator downstream for Southern Africa. A lot of widgets shall be made in Zimbabwe for the Zimbabwean market, for the regional market, and for the global market. Runesu is my comrade since 1975. We were together at Chimoyo, in Mozambique. We trained together, we fought together. He went for additional training in Romania. I went for additional training in Yugoslavia. And we worked very well together. I just am now, I've got a lot of angst about the way he's being abused by people who obviously have got an agenda.
We once saw Comrade Christopher Muchanga talk about Geza being abused. We are seeing him repeat that. Just in case this might seem like an old video, that statement would verify that this is a recent video. Anyways, fellow Zimbabweans, let us continue.
And like I say, my appeal to him is that we have unfinished work in the steel sector. The prospects are just opening up. Manhize has started production. So, the Comrade Bombshell, I don't know the other issues which may be.
We are seeing the issue of Manhize coming here. There's been hogwash and speculation that Christopher Muchanga, who is said to be a mastermind of the Manhize project was sidelined. Now we're seeing him talk about Manhize. If they were sidelined, has there be a reversal of this sidelining? Maybe something very grave was done to Comrade Bombshell Blessed Geza. Or maybe this is just politicking. Anyways, let us continue.
Bothering you, but definitely we, the war veterans, always remember the good work which you did, and we don't want you to be abused. Mazvitiramisa musateere mapenzi vari kukusainzesai ndo zvandiri kutaura and mutaura neshamwari yenyu anonditaura futi kuti ndiri shamwari yake. I think mukanzwa mavhindi akanzi my friend comrade Muchanga, Christopher Muchanga. So I've got angst about what is happening to him. That's all I can say. And those who are abusing him, I want to add, most of them vanga vasiri kuhondo, vamwe vacho vakanotrena kuLibya vari vamuzoreo vakunyeba kuti vari macomrades. Ivo vakauya kuno ku 1980 vaenda kuLibya 1979 ndo vari kutenderera vachitenderera even pano paparty headquarters vachizviti tiri macomrades vachida kunyeba kutora history yevamacomrades echokwadi.
All right, we're seeing a heartfelt statement there coming from Christopher Muchanga as he is appealing to Comrade Bombshell Geza. Now we're going to look at this from various aspects, from various perspectives. I think as a friend, if he's not trying to lure him into a trap, I respect that. He has earned my respect by just standing with a friend in difficult times. That is a very much respectable. That is a very much respectable there from Christopher Muchanga. Oh, yeah. Then we see him try to justify Comrade Bombshell. We see him try to justify Comrade Bombshell by saying people who are using you, just in case there may be a bitterness. There may be a bitterness on the part of Comrade Blessed Geza. That is if he is involved in the Manhize steel plant project. That may be used. So we are seeing camaraderie there coming from Christopher Muchanga. Now, one big question may be, what is Christopher Muchanga's role in this Manhize steel plant project?
With a lot of support from the war veterans, it is one of the reasons.
What role does Christopher Muchanga play in the Manhize project? Christopher Muchanga, a prominent Zimbabwean politician and ZANU-PF spokesperson, has been closely associated with the Manhize mine project, particularly the Dinson iron and steel plant in the Manhize area of Mvuma Midlands province in Zimbabwe. This project, spearheaded by the Chinese company Tsingshan Holding through its subsidiary Dinson Iron and Steel Company DISCO, is a significant industrial undertaking aimed at transforming Zimbabwe's mining and steel production sectors. Muchanga has been vocal in endorsing the Manhize steel project, emphasizing its potential to position Zimbabwe as a major player in the global steel industry. The initiative, valued at US $1 billion, involves an integrated iron ore mining and steel production facility with the capacity to produce up to 1.2 million tons of steel annually at full operation. He has highlighted its alignment with President Emmerson Mnangagwa's vision of industrializing Zimbabwe and achieving an upper middle income economy by 2030. The project is expected to create thousands of jobs, up to 10,000 direct jobs, and contribute significantly to the country's US 12 billion mining economy target, with spin-offs including infrastructure development like power transmission line and railway links to Mozambique and Democratic Republic of Congo. Muchanga's involvement is primarily as a political figure championing the project, often touring sites to assess the progress and linking it to broader economic goals. For instance, he has noted its integration with the global markets through partnerships like that with DP World of Dubai, which could see Zimbabwean steel traded on the Dubai Global Commodities Market. However, his role in the public eye, in the public domain, appears to be more about advocacy and political support rather than direct operational management of the mine or steel plant, which is handled by Disco and its Chinese investors. The project has not been without controversy. Reports and sentiments on platforms like Facebook.com, X.com have raised concerns about displacement of local families and the exhumation of graves without adequate compensation or consent, issues that have drawn criticism towards the government and its Chinese partners. While Muchanga has raised the project's transformative project potential, these social and environmental challenges highlight a tension between development goals and community impact. Those specific responses from him addressing those criticisms are not detailed. In summary, we see Christopher Muchanga as a key political supporter of the Manhize mine and steel project, framing it as a cornerstone of Zimbabwe's industrial and economic ambitions. Though his role tied to promotion is the one that is more prevalent, there is no evidence of any that is linked to direct administration amid a backdrop of both optimism and local contention. Now, seeing him talk about Manhize in the public like this, could this be suggesting that maybe Chris Muchanga may have something to do with what is happening there at Manhize? Big up to everybody who's watching us live right about now. Somebody says video ya Manhize ilikukatakata, so I'm gonna replay it one more time. What is your opinion, fellow Zimbabweans? To those who are watching us live, do write your comments in the top chat or in the super chat. Also, that's how I can get to see your names, so I can give you a shout out. I'm gonna try and replay the Christopher Muchanga video.
With a lot of support from the war veterans. It is one of the reasons why we fell out with Mugabe, because he didn't want that project since 2014. The Comrade Geza was my team, was my business development manager. All I can say to you, we are making new headway about Manhize. We are going to become a major steel fabricator downstream for Southern Africa. A lot of widgets shall be made in Zimbabwe for the Zimbabwean market, for the regional market, and for the global market. Runesu is my comrade since 1975. We were together at Chimoyo, in Mozambique. We trained together, we fought together. He went for additional training in Romania. I went for additional training in Yugoslavia. And we worked very well together. I just am now, I've got a lot of angst about the way he's being abused by people who obviously have got an agenda. And like I say, my opinion is that we have unfinished work in the steel sector. The prospects are just opening up. Manhize has started production. So
the prospects are just opening up. The prospects are just opening up. What does the word prospects mean in business? Prospect means anticipation, but prospects in business now means a prospectus client, a prospective supplier is a potential supplier. A prospect is a potential client, someone who is in the market for your product or has the resources needed to buy, but not been purchased yet. So, according in business, that is what prospect mean. Refers to a potential customer who has been qualified as a good fit for the product, likely to make a purchase. That can be a prospect, right? Then generally we can say, is something likely to happen in the future? Is there any prospects of the weather improving? Is there any prospect of the economy improving? What are your prospects in life? Things are like that. Anyways, let us continue.
The Comrade Bombshell. I don't know the other issues which
he refers to him, Comrade Bombshell. If we can see his demeanor, he's very genuine. Like it's very heartfelt statement there. It seems he would be very closer to Comrade Bombshell. Why is he releasing this statement right now? And he seems to be supporting him. I'm not saying he should not support his friend. I'm not saying he shouldn't be supporting his friend. Big up to Shamiso Chinotimba, Oscar Muteku, Nokulunga Masiko says hi there. Greetings, everybody. Abigail Kanjanda, thank you very much for that positive feedback. There, enough respect. I don't know what Kelvin Mishi says. Auna Nyaya has been angered by. Nyaya Ndiangwere, or I'm giving it as is. Then we're giving an analysis, a balanced analysis, as we are speaking what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. However, personally, I wish for change in the nation of Zimbabwe. I wish for the economy to improve in the nation of Zimbabwe. I want for corruption to end in the nation of Zimbabwe. I want better remuneration for our civil servants in Zimbabwe. Better education opportunities for every Zimbabwean. A better Zimbabwe for every Zimbabwean. I wish to see Zimbabwe on the world map. I wish to see Zimbabwe shining in the whole world, entire world. I wish for Zimbabwe to become more like a Dubai of Africa, more like an England, more like a London of Africa. BFT, big up there. Table Mountains Records, how is it there? Are you in Cape Town? How is it? Says Table Mountain Records West Town says Manhize. Something it must simply go. Enough is enough. Free up the nation of Zimbabwe. Anyways, let us continue with Geza statement from Christopher Muchanga there.
Be bothering you, but definitely we, the war veterans, always remember the good work which you did, and we don't want you to be abused. Mazvitiramisa musateere mapenzi vari kukusainzesai ndo zvandiri kutaura and mutaurwa neshamwari yenyu anonditaura futi kuti ndiri shamwari yake. So I've been angst about what happened. That's all I can say. And those who are abusing him, I want to add, most of them vanga vasiri kuhondo. Vamwe vacho vakanotraina kuLibya vari vakuzoreva kunyeba kuti vari macomrades. Kuno ku1980 vaenda kuLibya 1979. Ndo vari kutenderera vachitendera even pano papati headquarters vachizviti tiri macomrades. Vachida kunyeba kutora history yevamachekubacomrades with a lot of support from the war veterans. It is one of the reasons why we fell out in Mugabe, because he didn't want that project since 2014.
Now take note what Christopher Muchanga here is saying. One of the reasons why we fell out with Mugabe, he didn't want support of this project. Now, does ED support this project for the war veterans? This is what he is suggesting. At the same time, it's a hidden message, more like a threat saying, give us this, give us the war veterans this. So this is a strategic statement they were saying from Christopher Muchanga. Christopher Muchanga is a brilliant individual who has intellectual intelligence and also emotional intelligence. Big up to Renia Single. He must support Geza this time because he's making sense. 31 March, everyone must be on the street. Chengetai, Binge Pinge, Comrade Bombshell commands respect within the ranks and file of the Zimbabwe Armed Forces and government. Fear is what's keeping other players within the system to rally behind him. Okay, that is Chengetai, Binge Pinge. He says, Comrade Bombshell Geza commands respect. It seems like so. It seems like he commands a lot of respect.
Arunes was my team, was my business development manager. All I can say to him, we are making new headway about Manhize. We are going to become a major steel fabricator downstream for Southern Africa. A lot of widgets shall be made in Zimbabwe for the Zimbabwean market, for the regional market, and for the global market. Runesu is my comrade since 1975. We were together at Chimoyo, in Mozambique. We trained together.
He says we are making headway. In business, headway means to make progress or to get closer to achieving something like we've made headway so far with the negotiations. So far we have made headway with the negotiation. We've made progress. We have made strides. We have gained ground. We have advanced. That is making headway. We have gained in terms of business. So he is using that language because not a lot of people would be relating to it. That is more like a political rhetoric. Then he says many widgets would be made. Again, in business English, widget, in designing, in web designing, or in business in general, a widget in computers is a small computer program usually connected with an image that can be added to a website to allow the user to do something. Like website kana ini ka player per site ka player kanons ka widget. An image can be a widget. So a widget can mean a partnership, a mini partnership, or a placeholder, or a stakeholder, or a stockholder. Somebody who holds a stake in a company. So we're seeing prospective. Then we see him saying headway and then widget.
He went for additional training in Romania. I went for additional training in Yugoslavia. And we worked very well together. I just am now, I've got a lot of angst about the way he's being
At the same time, what did Comrade Blessed Bombshell Geza say about Christopher Muchanga's liberation war credentials? Because we are seeing Muchanga aligning himself with the liberation struggle. We'll get there when we finish this.
Obviously for an agenda, and like I say, my appeal to him is that we have unfinished work in the steel sector. The prospects are just opening up. Manhize, he has started production. So
that is Christopher Muchanga saying there. Now let us rewind back in time to hear what Comrade Bombshell would be saying about Muchanga, where we would see him in an explosive expression in a showdown.
Siana inazo tiri kudhila nemi. Siana inazo zvamuri kuita izvozvo. Siana inazo. Let's respect our commanders. Yeah. Atidi kuti, it is not only General Chiwenga. Bakata kana nama mjurwesa. Yeah. Mapita kuna Mugabe aita zvechivhure kuhondo. Mugabe akaita zvechivhure kuhondo.
Now we see Comrade Bombshell Blessed Geza jumps into the Christopher Muchanga issue here, we see Comrade Blessed Geza has made several statements about Chris Muchanga, reflecting a deep rift between the two figures amid Zimbabwe's political turmoil as of today, 18 March 2025. Now it's 19 March. Geza, a fugitive war veteran and a former ZANU-PF Central Committee member, has publicly clashed with Muchanga, the party's spokesperson, over leadership and loyalty within the ruling party of ZANU-PF. We see him here dressed in camouflage, accusing Muchanga of being a liability to the revolutionary cause. He has warned Christopher Muchanga to zip up or face exposure of alleged secrets that would paint him as an anti-revolutionary during the Zimbabwe liberation struggle. Geza's rhetoric suggests he views now is Muchanga trying to silence Comrade Geza with his friendly statements. He seems genuine to me, and for him being genuine and choosing to stand by a friend, I respect him for that. Any person who does that is a person with dignity and integrity. Muchanga is a hypocrite or opportunist, contrasting their war veteran credentials and implying Muchanga's criticism of others like Vice President Constantino Chiwenga as self-serving rather than him being principled. All this, we're seeing a strong message coming from Comrade Bombshell Geza. So that would be an analysis I did on what Comrade Bombshell Geza said about Christopher Muchanga. That would be a warning, big up to everybody who is watching us live right about now. What do you think of all this? No matter what we're going through, fellow Zimbabweans, we should always pray for Zimbabwe, pray for ourselves, and pray for somebody else. Big up to everybody who was watching us live right about now. Big up, 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 big up. Oscar Mateku, Nokulunga Masiku, Abigail Kanjanda, BFT, Hida, Jiri say. I think it's the problem with the network. My network always has a problem every time that I go on live. Apologies for that one there. Table Mountains. If you try to rewind, I think the live read, I think it would have stabilized. Apologies for that one there. We have to continue the lives even when the network is katwa chi. We have to continue. There are some people who just don't want to be seeing some people doing things who want to be governing industries they didn't create, or governing industry that they have nothing to do with. Chengetai Binge Pinge, Andrew Damba says that's not ZDF. Actually, that is a letter from ZDF. ZDF, they do scan the letters and they stamp, they sign. That's how they release them. But since you said that, I'll look deep into it. By 10 a.m., I would have finished doing the investigations. I'll do referrals. I'll compare with other letters from the defense forces. It is highly unlikely that it is not a letter from the defense forces. They do have a Gmail address. They do have. Sometimes if you want to be booking appointments with them, you can do that via email. It's stamped and scanned. Usually that is their modus operandi. They print it, they stamp it, sign it, and then release it to the public. But maybe somebody who wanting to make a fake one could be doing the same. But there is no pixelating in the image suggesting that it is a doctored image. However, I look into that since you have said that. since you have said that it's worth looking into. Before coming to this broadcast, I didn't look into that. It's something that I should have looked into. I usually look into those things first up. Thank you very much for that input, Andrew Damba. O'Brien Malcolm says, Ngaende Mnangagwa. Molena Muchanga says, Mwaripindirai, Captain Dauk Take, say Mchangwa, Ngasa Tinyangadze Zakwana. Okay. Rich Masena says, Muchangwa is a sellout, only 31 March, guys. Let's go, Parode. Viva Geza, Viva. We shall overcome, says Handy. Now, comrade Geza, Pamberna Geza, Revolution. Tibise, Mafidi, Clan. Big up to everybody who was watching us live right about now. Wherever you're watching us from, remember to be the mouth of God. Remember to be the hand of God. Remember to do good. The things we value shape our value. Our values shape how much we are worth spiritually. Yes, for we reap what we sow. Up to the third generation, people may wonder in life, why are some people suffering in certain situations? Sometimes some situations are inherited because you are a descendant of your great parents, of your grandparents, and of your parents. Remember, the Bible says, honor your father and your mother for your days to be many on earth. For we see that one there. Then when God gives Moses the 12 commandments, he will be talking to a certain group of the Israelites, saying, because of the sins of your forefathers, now you have reached the third generation. Then when God is blessing, he says, you will go past the age of 100. You will see your great-grandchildren. So the things we value shape our value. Shino shepa kukosha kwedu. Chikakoshisa chimbava. Nikisa value ama relationships. Nikisa value azunze wamwe wanu. Isusu se wanu. Tino lose a value. Including a net worth. Monetary chayo. So, be good. The only way one can be good is through works. For what good is being good for if it is not for being good? If good is not being done in works, is it worth being called good? Fellow Zimbabweans. It's been good to have you on TV7 Live. You know, TV7 Live is the channel broadcasting live and direct from the nation of Zimbabwe in Africa. Dr. Clarence is the name. As always, thank you for watching. And I am out.